At First Choice Bank, Thanksgiving reminds us what truly matters: family. For over 125 years, we proudly support our local communities, helping families, businesses, and neighbors reach their goals. From all of us at First Choice Bank, we wish you a happy Thanksgiving.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm so thankful you could join me here in the Room to Room Weather Center as we are looking forward to wrapping up our weekend. But we also have a very cold end to the weekend ahead. That brings us to our first headline, Cold end to the weekend. It has been a beautiful Thanksgiving break all across North Mississippi, but this cold front moving in tonight, bringing in those rain chances, are also going to make us feel a lot colder tomorrow as we go about our Sunday. It's going to be pretty much an all-day thing. That northern breeze is just going to make us feel even more chilly as we go about our day. But we're also going to have a rainy start to the work week. So we see those dry conditions tomorrow as we wrap up our Thanksgiving break and weekend. But that rain already coming back into your forecast for your Monday and towards the start of the work week, and then also towards the back half as well. We'll be discussing that towards the end of this broadcast. But keep those layers ready all week long. These cold, frigid, below average conditions, they're pretty much sticking with us as we continue into the work week ahead of us. This isn't just a Sunday thing or Monday thing. Pretty much all week long, that entire 7-day forecast pretty much below average. So make sure you have those layers ready to go, as it will be a cold week ahead of us as we are now just a few days out of December. But taking a live look out here in Kosciuszko, 52 degrees, feels like 52. And there we go. We're already seeing an example of those windy conditions. Not really the same thing that will happen tomorrow. This is coming out of the south. 13-mile-per-hour winds, but if you flip that 180 degrees, that's coming out of the north, those feels like values are going to plummet, and that's what we're expecting tomorrow. Breezy conditions and also cold conditions. But for right now in Kosciuszko, still feeling like the same temperature outdoors. Take it while it lasts, because that will not be the story as we wrap up our weekend tomorrow. Same thing out here in Oxford, 43 degrees, but those feels like values just a little bit lower. Feels like 39. Not much of a wind component out there. 5 miles per hour coming out of the southeast. And I know it's been a dreary day out there in Oxford, especially with the looming decision of Lane Kiffin. I know he's supposed to announce that today. Haven't seen any big headlines or notifications yet on my phone, but good luck to all of y'all Rebels fans out there, hoping that he can stick with y'all. I'd love to see what that decision is as he gets closer and closer to making it and what ends up going down. But still, beautiful conditions out there in Oxford. Out here in Crenshaw, 46 degrees. Feels like 46. Not much of a wind component, helping you feel like that temperature outdoor is correct. I mean, it is correct. You just sometimes don't always feel the right one. So that is definitely good to see as we're wrapping up our Saturday night and getting ready for the Sunday ahead. But the first 12 still shows those rainy conditions as we continue into the overnight hours. Still pretty much 30 to 40% on the front end, but starting to fade on out as we get closer towards those early Sunday morning hours. Starting off around 30% by 11 o'clock, temperatures in the mid 40s, and slowly cooling down towards the low 40s. Eventually seeing upper 30s by the time we wake up tomorrow. But those rain chances, going to see mostly dry conditions as you start off your Sunday morning, but we're going to see pretty much cloudy conditions all day long as we wrap up our weekend here in North Mississippi. But taking a look at Mississippi Live Weather Radar, we see those rainy conditions pretty much all across North Mississippi. This is that 30% that we're talking about, transitioning towards 40 later on. Not all of us seeing the rainfall at the same time, but a majority of us seeing these isolated chances, drizzles, sprinkles, not really anything severe. So we can go to sleep peaceful tonight, stress-free. This is just some nice rain that we can enjoy hearing it hit the roof above us as we start falling asleep later on tonight. Some heavier showers out there in Alabama. But taking a look at the grand scheme of things, that low pressure system all the way towards Chicago is what's responsible for these rain chances down here. Notice we're not really expecting anything severe or stronger storms. You can see that all the way out in Texas, just north of Houston, starting to see some of those red and oranges pop up, but that cold front starting to bring those rain chances and cooler air, all that snow, definitely north of here in Mississippi. We are just getting those rain chances and snow chances, but just to show you I'm not crazy, because I know it's kind of small. for y'all. Just those stronger storms out there in Texas. Thankfully, not expecting any of that as we continue into the overnight hours. That is sticking in Texas, into Louisiana, but us here in North Mississippi, we are just enjoying some stress-free rain, as I've like to call it this evening. But coming to Futurecast, we can track out those rain chances as we continue overnight. Like I mentioned, the further south you go, you start seeing those reds and oranges pop up, those kind of more stormy-like conditions. But for us here in North Mississippi, we're seeing green, maybe some yellows and oranges. Can't rule out the possibility of some thunder overnight, but it's going to be those nice rumbles that you can enjoy throughout the night. Nothing to stress about as you continue to the overnight hours. 10 o'clock going towards midnight, seeing those rain changes continue to push all across North Mississippi. You can start seeing some of those yellows and reds pop up just a little bit, but notice I'm not putting any pause points in them. There's nothing to track out. These are just rain chances moving on through, stress-free rain. By the time we wake up Sunday at 8 o'clock, starting to see drier conditions and even a bit of the clearing northwest of our viewing area. Not really seeing those cloudy skies, but most of us still seeing partly cloudy conditions and mostly dry conditions. The southeastern portion of our viewing area is still seeing those rainy conditions as you wake up for any Sunday morning church events. Definitely going to be mostly dry as we start out in North Mississippi, but the further along into this Sunday, we're going to go completely dry. That rain still pushing on out of our area, being replaced with pretty much cloud cover as the only form of moisture as we wrap up our weekend here in North Mississippi. Next 24 pretty much shows that perfectly. We see rain chances on the front end very minimal, 10% as it continues to push on out of our area, 41 degrees by 6 o'clock. And I mean, I'm talking barely warming up towards the mid 40s for your highs tomorrow. And honestly, look at these temperatures and almost go even, like subtract the next 5 or something. That is how it's going to feel outdoors. So 46 degrees as a high. You're probably going to feel like you're in the upper 30s with just how breezy it is. So not really going to feel like you're making it up there, but those are going to be your highs tomorrow. Seeing those pretty much mostly cloudy, partly cloudy conditions all day long. Then maybe seeing a clearing by the time we make it towards those evening hours, but no rain chances on the back half of your Sunday. But those rain chances will come back for your Monday as we get started for the work week ahead. But of course, I'm going to give you an in-depth look on those rain changes, not only tonight, heading into tomorrow morning, and what your forecast looks like as we wrap up our weekend, but also the start of your work week, Monday and Tuesday, and kind of a long-range forecast for your 7-day. All that's coming up in 1 minute.
Hate is loud, but love is the majority.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
People tell me how lucky my daughter is to have been adopted. But really, we're the lucky ones. Learn more at adoptuskids.org.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, thanks for sticking here with us at Mississippi Live Weather at 10. Taking a look at our day planner, we're still seeing, well, basically overnight planner at this point. We're still seeing soggy conditions as we continue into the overnight hours. Starting off with temperatures around 45 degrees, still seeing that 30% chance of rain as those isolated chances keep moving across North Mississippi, trying to increase just a little bit as we see some more heavier downpours overnight for a select few areas. 40% 2 o'clock, 44 degrees, then still slowly cooling off towards the low 40s, 20% by 5 o'clock. Those rain changes continue to move out and decrease the further into the morning hours we get for our Sunday. So let's kind of visualize that here with Futurecast. That cold front, that's what's responsible for it as we keep pushing into the overnight hours. All those isolated chances of rainfall, some heavier than others, but going to continue pushing on through North Mississippi. And notice, the further south you go with the system, you start seeing more of those yellows, oranges, and reds kind of pop up even by 4:30 in the morning. I know I'm a person in my family loves having that rainfall hit the roof as we are falling asleep. So if you are a fan of those conditions, this is the perfect night for you. Still seeing those rain cover all across North Mississippi, but I'm not putting several pause points in because we're not tracking out anything severe. This is just nice rainfall that we get to enjoy overnight, especially here in North Mississippi. We will take any chances we get. We all love the rain here, but those rain chances will eventually move on out, especially by 6 o'clock in the morning, even in towards 8 o'clock. Still seeing those chances in the early morning hours, but for Sunday morning church commutes, most of us are going to start seeing those drier conditions, especially the further northwest you are in our viewing area. Not only will you see those drier conditions, but also clearer conditions before that cloud cover inevitably comes back. But those low temperatures going to be a chilly start to your morning as well. So especially for church, make sure you dress appropriately with those layers because it will be a cold start. Pretty much upper 30s across North Mississippi, 39 in Houston, 36 Bruce, New Albany, Grenada, 33 in Clarksdale, but 32 Senatobia, Tunica, and South Haven, 31 in Holly Springs. I think you're the winner right there on the cusp of upper 20s. So definitely going to be a cold start to your Sunday, but that's going to pretty much continue all day long. And we can see this with our church planner tomorrow. Definitely want to make sure you have those layers on. You're starting off your day around 40 degrees by 7 o'clock, still seeing mostly dry conditions. Most of that rainfall is gone, but if you're in the southern, southeastern portion of our viewing area, could still see some of those rain showers lingering. But by the time we get towards lunchtime and definitely the afternoon hours, we are seeing dry conditions, but also cloudy conditions. And remember, make sure you look at those temperatures, subtract a few, because it will definitely feel a lot cooler than what those temperatures are reading. You're going to see just what I mean about that coming up in the next few graphics. But coming back to Futurecast, we're starting to see those mostly dry conditions return here in North Mississippi. A little bit of a clearing northwest of our viewing area, but that cloud cover going to stay pretty consistent across North Mississippi as you go about your Sunday, pretty much encompassing Highway 6 and down as we continue into the Sunday afternoon hours. That's lunchtime. Now post lunchtime into the afternoon hours, pretty much blanketing all of North Mississippi. That's the only moisture we're going to see on the back half of our Sunday. So definitely not going to be rainy, but definitely going to be a cloudy day as well. Still going to be talking about that cloud cover during the 6 o'clock broadcast time tomorrow. But here are those high temperatures I was talking about, pretty much mid 40s all across North Mississippi. 48 Amory, Houston, Bruce, 46 Water Valley, 43 Holly Springs, 42 South Haven. Now take a little mental picture of these high temperatures for tomorrow and where you think you're going to make it, but those feels like values, nowhere close. As you continue throughout your Sunday, you are going to feel very cold and a lot cooler than what those temperatures are outside, and that's because of that northerly winds continuing to push into North Mississippi. That cold front bringing those rain chances tonight. That's what's making us feel a lot colder tomorrow. That's what you can pay attention on this next Futurecast graphic showing those wind barbs coming out of the north. But if you can withstand the cold, I know the dogs would love to go for a walk tomorrow. You can start off in the morning where it's a little bit cooler, seeing some of those rainy conditions depending on where you're at. But if you want to warm up slightly throughout your day, you can go by noontime, seeing temperatures around 43 degrees, warming up slightly into the mid to possibly upper 40s. But of course, not really going to be feeling that. But still, going to be a beautiful Sunday tomorrow, especially once we start seeing those drier conditions. Just going to be a lot chillier as we wrap up our weekend. But coming back to Futurecast, there's that northerly wind I was talking about. That is what's allowing us to feel a lot cooler than what those temperatures are reading outdoors. This model already showing that cloud cover moving on out of our area by those evening hours and overnight, but that cloud cover will start to return yet again. You can already see it coming in from Arkansas and Tennessee, starting to cross the Mississippi River into midnight hours for Monday. You're seeing those dry conditions from the start, but not really going to last for long. Here we go with that wintry mix. I know I always loved seeing these colors growing up, but we're all going to class Monday. I'm still going to class. I would fight for this battle for y'all, but now that I kind of understand what I'm looking at, definitely not going to be canceling any classes for your Monday. You could see maybe a flurry or two. Not going to rule that out. It is definitely in the realm of possibilities, but most of us are still going to be above freezing, especially at the surface. Nothing's going to stick. So we're going to see rainy conditions possibly at the start, especially if you're in the Delta here in North Mississippi. But what we really do expect as we go about our Monday is a whole lot of green. Here are those rainy conditions. This is what I do expect as you go throughout your Monday. It'll be a rainy, dreary Monday, as if Mondays can't get any worse. Definitely going to be one of those soggy ones as we start off our work week. This is pretty much lunchtime, post-lunchtime, around 1 o'clock for your Monday, and these rain chances going to stick around pretty much all day long. And I keep talking about the clouds blanketing us. We see this rain. I mean, everywhere you look on Futurecast, we are seeing more gray, or excuse me, more green than gray. Going to be a rainy day for your Monday, lasting all the way into your evening, even into your overnight hours as well. That's why we still have those rain chances for your Tuesday. This is at 1 o'clock after crossing midnight into your Tuesday morning hours. So still seeing those rain chances linger just a little bit, kind of what we're seeing tonight into your Sunday as well. That wintry mix still north of us here in North Mississippi. But those high temperatures still pretty much mid 40s all across North Mississippi. South Haven still coming in around 39, as well as Tunica and Clarksdale, 40 in Cleveland, but 43 Water Valley, 45 Bruce, 46 down there in Starkville. I think 50 is the winner on this graphic for Vernon and Aliceville, coming in at the warmest, but I don't even think we can consider 50 warm as we continue into the days ahead. But those future heat indices still going to be a lot cooler than what those temperatures are reading outdoors. So keep those layers on, keep those hoodies, sweatpants ready in the rotation as you go about your work week, because these conditions sticking around pretty much all week long. And we can see that with that 7-day forecast right here. We're seeing that 20% chance of rain for your Sunday. That's because this is still continuing overnight into the early morning hours, but lunchtime and on, We're enjoying dry conditions, seeing pretty much mostly cloudy conditions with a high of 47. But transitioning into Monday, then you start seeing that rain icon come back, and that's because pretty much all day Monday, you're going to see those rainy, soggy conditions as you go about your Monday. But thankfully, drier conditions will stay just a bit longer as opposed to tomorrow. Tuesday and Wednesday, seeing dry and mostly clear skies, high of 43 for your Tuesday, high of 50 for Wednesday. But take a look at that low, 24 degrees. Not only is that below freezing, but definitely well below freezing and well below average for this time of year. Our normal low should be around 39 degrees. I mean, the closest we are to average is tomorrow, but even from that point on, we are still seeing below average conditions. And of course, those rainy conditions will come back towards the back half of your work week into next weekend. Thursday, 20% because that's towards the evening into the overnight hours for your Friday. Still seeing mostly dry conditions and mostly cloudy conditions for your Thursday, but then rainy conditions for your Friday and possibly maybe stormy conditions for your Saturday. But as we know, that is 7 days out, and Mississippi weather never makes up its mind. So we're going to continue to tracking that out pretty much all week long here at Mississippi Live Weather. But of course, if you want to continue to stay updated with us, here's the QR code for both the iOS and Android version of our app. We appreciate all the support you have given us. This app sends you notifications. You can access it to send us pictures of everything going on, check different graphics that you want to see kind of going into your work week and what to expect as we wrap up our weekend here in North Mississippi. And let us know if there's something that you want us to add. We want to make sure it is easily and best accessible for you guys out there. So we'll make sure it is top notch as we continue improving and working on that app with you guys. But we'll be live tomorrow night at 6 and 10. Still on the weekend schedule. Let's enjoy the last bit of Thanksgiving break that we have before we get back to those work week responsibilities. We'll be live tomorrow night at 6 and 10 talking about all those rain totals we got tonight into tomorrow, but talking about cool and dry conditions throughout your Sunday before we start seeing those rainy conditions heading into your Monday. But I'll make sure you are ready to walk out of the door for your work week. But until then, enjoy the rest of y'all Saturday night. Have a beautiful and cold Sunday tomorrow. I'll see y'all back here in the Room to Room Weather Center at 6 and 10.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.